A court ruling in Abuja shakes the country, but Delta State says it changes nothing. One side says vehicle inspection officers cannot operate the way they used to. The other side says our powers remain intact. So who is right? Here is what most people don't understand. The judgment may not mean what many Nigerians think it means. And if this confusion continues, it could affect traffic enforcement, state authority, and even public trust in government. Tonight, we break down the law, the politics, and the power struggle behind these controversies. Like this video, subscribe and stay with us because this story is bigger than traffic stops. An appeal court in Abuja delivered a ruling concerning vehicle inspection office operations in the Federal Capital Territory. Almost immediately, social media exploded. Many Nigerians believe VIO officers nationwide has been stopped from operating. Drivers began questioning officers. Some refused to cooperate. Tension rose. Then in Asaba, Delta State, the director of the Vehicle Inspection Office stepped forward. While interacting with journalists, he made one thing clear. The Abuja judgment does not affect Delta State. According to him, the ruling applies only to the Federal Capital Territory, not to Delta State. And he issued a warning. Any motorist in Delta State who disobey, obstruct, or assault a VIO officer performing his lawful duty will face persecution. That statement changed the tone of the debate. But why? To understand this crisis, you must understand Nigeria's federal system. Nigeria is not governed from one side or one single legal center. States have power. Each state has its own House of Assembly. Each state can make laws, and each state can enforce those laws. The Delta State VIO says its powers come from Delta State laws, not from Abuja. So here is the real question. Can a judgment delivered in Abuja automatically cancel enforcement powers in another state? This is not just about traffic fines. It is about federalism. It is about constitutional authority. And it is about who controls enforcement power. And when laws meet politics, things get complicated. Let's slow down and look deeper. The director in Delta State did not just defend VIO's operation. He made a strategic move. By interacting with journalists publicly, he aims to control the narrative. He emphasized three key points. One of it is that the Abuja ruling is limited to the FCT. And the second is that Delta State VIO operates under state law. And the third one is assaulting or disobeying officers will lead to persecution. This is not just administrative clarification, it is authority reinforcement. Because once public perception shifts, enforcement becomes difficult. If drivers believe officers have no power, compliance will drop. And when compliance drops, enforcement collapses. That is the risk Delta State is trying to avoid. But here's something important. But here is the part nobody is talking about. What happens if different states interpret federal ruling differently? Does that create legal confusion across Nigeria? Or does it simply show that Nigeria's federal structure is working as designed? Stay with me. Most headlines focus on court bans on VIO, but very few explain jurisdiction. Jurisdiction determines where a judgment applies, and in this case, the Delta VIO director argues that the ruling has geographic limits. If that interpretation holds, then Delta State officers remain fully empowered. However, public misunderstanding creates risk. Imagine a scenario where motorists resist enforcement, believing it is illegal. That resistance could escalate into confrontation. And when the government warns that offender will face the full weight of the law, it signals seriousness. This is not just about traffic stop. It is about maintaining state authority. Public reaction has been mixed. Some drivers say enforcement agencies often overstep. Others argue that road safety requires strict monitoring. Security agencies now face a sensitive balance: enforce the law without escalating tension. Courts, meanwhile, may become central again, because if similar cases arise in other states, legal battle could spread, and when court decision meet public emotion, governance becomes delicate. Let's zoom out a little. This issue touches three major national themes. One is federal versus state power. Then the second one is public trust in institutions, while the third one is law enforcement legitimacy. If states begin asserting autonomy more strongly, Nigeria's federal structure becomes more visible. But if citizens lose trust in enforcement fairness, resistance will grow. And in a country preparing for future elections, governance stability matter, because perception of power affects political narrative. Opposition parties may frame this as overreach, governments may frame it as lawful enforcement, and the public stand in the middle. Three possible scenarios to look at. The first one is the controversy fails, motorists comply, and operation continue normally. While the second scenario is that legal challenges emerge in multiple states. Higher courts clarify the scope of the Abuja ruling. While the third scenario is that the debate expand into a broader constitutional conversation about enforcement power nationwide. Which path Nigeria takes depends on clarity and communication. Delta State has chosen to assert its authority clearly. Now, the legal and political environment will determine what follows. So here is the question: is this a simple legal clarification or the beginning of a deeper federal power test? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe the Abuja ruling should affect all states or only the FCT? If you value investigative political breakdown like this, please subscribe now, because in Nigeria, power is never just about law. It's about who interprets it and who enforces it. I will see you in the next investigation.